Billy RL. Billy RL.
Hi everyone, this is Billy RL. I'm here in the Resistance studio with a few of the team members here coming to give you a video detailing to you what your 3 years coming up will be like if you choose to stay here in this prison planet that we call Earth. The robot known as Elon Musk, he has come out today and said that if you had intentions of going to medical school, or if you are in medical school at the moment, no need, no need. You can pretty much drop out. And the reason why is because in 3 years, there will be no need for any human to go to medical school. And the reason why is because of the fact that in 3 years, robots will be the doctors. They will be the nurse practitioners. They will be the surgeons. There will be no need for you to go to medical school. And if you think that it's just with the doctors and the nurses and all of that in the medical field, um, you need to realize that this will also apply to teachers. It's already applying to cashiers and those who work in all forms of food service. But this is going to apply to every single job field in America. Oh, and also abroad. Don't think that you all who are abroad are going to not go through this, because you will. Um, Robots will be taking your jobs. Robots, robots. I'm trying to find a way to put this. Robots that will not immediately have a conscious, but will be controlled as to what to do and how to do and all of that. They will be the new doctors. They will be the new surgeons and the like. This is why we are telling you, if you think things are bad now, just wait. As the Bruno Mars song, with the lyrics that go, don't believe me, just watch, as that song says, don't believe us, any of us, myself or the team, just watch. It's going to be horrible, because when you can't get a job in food service, housekeeping, janitorial, um, driving Uber or Lyft anymore, because that's going to be automated after a while too. When you can't get a job doing this and that, I mean, just the bare minimum things, working at Burger King. Well, I can go on OnlyFans. Nope, because after a while, that's going to be AI only people on there as well. Well, I'll just go ahead and be a content creator. Nope, you will not, unless you have the RFID chip, which makes you a robot as well. When you find out that you can't do these things, then what are you going to do? You're going to be on the streets. And when you are on the streets, they will come and find you. Oh, I will go off the grid. Off the grid, off the SMED. Do you know they are not going to allow you to live off the grid? In the words of Tommy Lee Jones and The Fugitive, they will go to area outhouse, in-house, red house, yellow house. They will go wherever and anywhere to find you, even underground. Well, I got my mom got my underground bunker. Well, they're gonna find you in your underground bunker. They're gonna find you in your attic. They're gonna find you in your basement. They're gonna find you anywhere and everywhere. They are going to find you. This is why we want to let you know, because we're going to show you a series of clips that is going to show you what your future will be like. And when we say your future, we're not talking about 5, 10, 20 years from now. We're talking about between now and, really, to be honest, about a 2 to 3 years. Between now and 2 to 3 years, screw the 5 years, now and 2 to 3 years is going to be your future, excuse me, what we are going to show you in these clips. It's going to be bad. And so, with all of that said, this is why we're letting you know you had better have a plan now, because after a while, you're not going to hear from the resistance team. We are going to get out of the kitchen before the kitchen sets ablaze. And I do want to say this, and I really do want to say this. I and the team, we were talking about this all day long today. when it gets to the point where people cannot get jobs and they don't want to get the chip, or before the chip comes out, the economic collapse happens and people rush to the stores to get food and the food shelves are empty and the financial system in America and abroad completely collapses. That means you can't go to the bank. You go to the bank, oh yeah, you're not going to get any money out because the ATMs will be down. The way to electronically get your money out of the bank will be down because of the economic collapse. Do you know how the world, and I'm telling you, this is going to happen. This is not TV. This is going to happen. They are going, in order for them to bring forth a digital currency, they have to collapse the current economy. And to collapse the current economy, they have to make it whereas you can't go to the bank and get money. You will not be able to go to the grocery store and get food. You're not going to be able to use your EBT. And they're already trying to do that now. Look at what happened the other day with the Verizon outage. All day. And I think it was all the way up until the early morning of the next day. They are going to do this. And when they do this, you think that the world's going to continue to be like it is. Damn, baby, but this is the fourth grocery store we went to. They ain't no food. When people can't get food, and the police officers are there no more. It's ICE in control now. But even ICE, when the economic collapse happens, you're not going to even find ICE in the streets. You know why? Because those ICE agents are going to be trying to worry about how they're going to deal with what is happening with their family. So they're not going to be on the streets. You're not going to be able to call 911 because every 911 operator, they're trying to deal with what happens as what has happened as well. Everything is going to shut down when an economic collapse happens in America and abroad. And do you know what's going to happen then? If you want to know what's going to happen then, and I'm telling you this, go out and watch the film 28 Years Later, The Bone Temple. That's exactly how people want to be. You're going to find the psychopaths come out, and they're going to, if you don't give us food, we are going to kill you. Matter of fact, we're going to kill you even after you give us the food. It's going to be that way. You're going to find people turning to cannibalism. The Jesuit Bible talked about this, how people will turn to cannibalism. It's going to be hell before they get to the RFID chip and the digital currency. It's going to be hell. And if you think, no, that'll never happen, why do you think they're bringing forth all these movies and shows showing you a world just like this? If you want to know how it's going to be when the economic collapse happens, go watch that film. That film shows you exactly. That's how it's going to be. And you had better have a game plan because Magoons are not going to protect you. They're not. I don't care how many Magoons you have in your house. They will sit there and burn the house up and find some way to override through that fire to get that food in your house. They'll do it. This is what it's coming down to. This is why the nut in office, Donald Trump, this is why he's allowing what's happening in Minnesota to happen. This is the little example of how the chaos will be when everything breaks down. They are, and which they should, but people in Minneapolis, Minnesota, and all over Minnesota, they are just going out with all types of chaos just from ICE being there. Now imagine how it will be when an economic collapse happens. If people in Minnesota can, let's do all this chaos, that they can do all of this chaos over the ICE agents. Imagine what they're going to do when the economic collapse happens. And not just in Minnesota, but in every state and country for you international listeners. Oh, it's going to be something. It's going to be terrible. In the words of Jordan Peterson, who once said, you can't even imagine how much this was on people's radar, but it should be. And so I and the team, we are telling you, you better have a game plan, because if you think you're going to find myself and Katrina and Ryan and Regina and Samantha and David and Alex and Luz and Kenny and the original messenger and the entire team, we're not going to be here. We are not going to be here for any of this. We'll be watching you all from Pleroma, but we won't be here for any of that. You had better start having a plan as to what you're going to do. And if your plan is to take the chip, well, um, just know you will never get out of this prison planet. Not ever. You will never get out of this prison planet if you decide to. Well, when that time comes, I'm just going to go ahead and take the chip, because if I take the chip, I'll get the universal basic income, since I can't go to college, since I can't go to school anymore. Because as you'll see in one of the clips, they're even cutting down the 11th and 12th grade in schools now, that they're planning to anyway. So you're going to have kids not going to school, adults not going to school in college. And which means they're not going to have jobs, because the jobs are going to be given to AI. So what is going to become of them? They'll be in their 15-minute cities at home with the universal basic income, or as that Elon Musk robot calls it, universal high income, which is nothing more than universal basic income. But you only get that universal basic income for staying at home and doing nothing if you get the chip. So you say, oh, all right, well, I'll just go ahead and get it. Well, you get it, and you can say goodbye to ever getting out of that enslavement ship. Ever. So we wanted to tell you people, it's going to get that way. And Elon Musk is telling you, you don't have to go to school to become a doctor anymore, because there aren't going to be any more human doctors. And yes, at first, the robots will be unconscious robots. Robots have no conscious. But then after you get chipped, which will, well, first is going to come with the digital ID card. Then it'll be the chip. Once you go from the digital ID card to the chip, then your conscious will be inside the robots. So then those robots will be robots with a conscious, because the robots will have your soul. And the reason why that will happen is because after you go from the digital ID to the RFID chip, once you get the chip, that chip is going to make you willingly agree to upload your consciousness, your brain, to AI. And once you do that, it's game over. So that's your future. And some of the people who transfer themselves to AI, they're going to be the doctors and lawyers, but it won't be them as humans. It'll be them as AI robots. The rest of you are going to be standing on, doing nothing but complying and living as a slave, as they want you to live, an obedient slave, to get that universal basic income to live from day to day. That's not a life. That is a prison's torture. So, with that being said, this is the realization of what's going to happen in your near future. Do you think that this is a game? This is real life. What my name is, real life. You will be under obedience, just like the celebrities are today. They can't do anything, they can't say anything, they can't go anywhere, they can't be themselves as they were before, because they're puppets. They're under obedience to whoever that's in charge of them today. Well, that's what you all are going to be. You all will have to come under obedience. Wake up, people, and recognize. Recognize what's happening in front of your faces. This is not a game. This is nothing to be played with. But those who are pulling your strings, they know that it's a game. It's a game that you cannot get out of. It's a game that you cannot say, well, I'll play the next time. It's either that or. We, the resistance team, we shall be no more. This is why we strongly try to encourage you. Get into your spiritual self and to your spiritual self as to whether you're going to stay here for this endurance and be like puppets, because that's exactly what you want to be, puppets. Your strings will be pulled. Personally, I or the team have never wanted anyone to tell us what to do, why to do, how, and when to do. But as long as we are here in this so-called matrix, this matrix is getting worse and worse and worse. We are puppets. Time is running out. The clock is ticking. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? Well, we, the resistance team, we know exactly what we're going to do. We're fed up and we're tired of it. Our time is running short. Get ready, people. Get ready for your rude awakening, because it's going to happen. If you think that this world, Elon Musk, Vance, and that egghead up there in the White House, if you think that they're in your favor, you're sad and mistaken. None of them are in the favor or with the favor of the American people. You are the least important beings on their mind. You will become important if you disobey what they're dishing out. I want to leave with each and every one of you this thing, and I've said it over and over again on each of my talk with you all. Knowledge is obtained, whereas power is gained. See, if you can receive that knowledge, obtain that knowledge, then you can be able to get the power. But some of you out there, you abuse and you don't use the knowledge to obtain the power. Use your power. It's in you. The light have gone out, but you can refuel that light to flame up that power, to know what to do, when to do, why, and how to do. You don't have to take the abuse and the misuse and what they are giving you. Because we, the resistance team, we're not going to do it. We're not going to accept it. Use your knowledge, your gnosis, and fuel up your power. And then maybe you can be able to see, actually see for yourself. See it. You can see it. It's there. You can look at someone with the power and know for a surety that they are lying through their mouths. You can use your power, that power, and you can know and see if someone is a demon, if someone is demonic. You can be able to see it. And that's why they're trying to distinguish your power. And you are allowing them to do so. All these years of going to college to become doctors and nurses and LPNs and engineers, it will no longer be. But they will take your mind and put it into AI. And you can say, I want to get out of this machine. It'll never happen. It'll never happen. Because of the fact that you gave your consent when you stayed behind. And you became adjusted to what was going on here in this world. People, it's going to be an awakening. But it won't be an awakening. Excuse me. I gotta make sure my words are correct. And what you think is going to be. The awakening is going to be when you come to the realization that there's no place to run and no place to hide. You will seek death, and death will free from you because you waited too long. Waited too long. That's all I have to say. Once again, knowledge is obtained, whereas power is attained. Excuse me, gained. I know the Tigers. I've been here since 4 o'clock this morning inside the studio. But just dwell on that. You have the power. Use it. This is me. Before I say Billy Ariel, I'm going to leave the studio. I'm going to go to my home. And I'm going to get a full night rest. I am so tired. Katrina, she's tired. Some of them numbers that we've been here since 4 o'clock this morning, receiving phone calls, sending out messages, notices. And some of our team members have been out there on the streets to help those who can't help themselves. We are so tired, not only mentally, but physically, because we are in a human body, a fleshly body. And this body does get tired and exhausted. So when I make a mistake, just completely forgive me because I'm tired. I haven't had sleep, really, to be honest about it, in 2 whole days because we've been out there. We've really been out there. We can't help everybody, but we do the best we can. So with that, people, forgive me, Billy Ariel. But I'm going to leave out of this studio and I'm going to go home. And I'm going to make sure that the team can go home or either stay here. But until the next time that we all come together, accept the knowledge and use your power. And stop believing what these dignitaries are saying. Stop believing them. This is me, Billy Ariel, real life. Until the next time.
I'm going to medical school.
Yes,
Yeah.
pointless.
Yeah.
I mean,
An optimist would be a better surgeon than the best surgeons. How long for that?
3 years.
3 years. Okay. Yeah. And by the way,
I'd
that's
say 3 years. 3 years at scale.
Yes. All
Meaning
of a sudden,
there'll probably be more Optimus robots that are great surgeons than there are
sure.
all surgeons on Earth.
And the cost of that, but that's an important statement in 3 years' time.
Yeah.
Because medicine,
I'm not like absolutely certain, but I'd say if you say like 4 years, I'd be absolutely
If it's 4 or
certain.
5 years, who cares? It's still an
Extreme precision.
yes, 3 years.
Yes. Better than any, probably, I say if you like, put a little margin on it, better than any human in 4 years.
ICE can now draw a digital line around your neighborhood and see the location of every phone inside it. As thousands of federal agents deploy to cities like Minneapolis, an exclusive report from 404 Media reveals the surveillance tool they're using to hunt people down. It's called Weblock. Here's how it works. An agent draws a shape on a digital map, a city block, a workplace, or a protest site. The system instantly pulls up the history of every mobile phone that's been inside that shape. It shows where you sleep, where you work, and who you spend time with. It creates a pattern of life analysis to predict your next move. They don't need a warrant. They don't need a subpoena. They just buy the data from apps installed on your phone right now. Yesterday, an ICE agent shot and killed a U.S. citizen in Minneapolis during an operation. Today, we know they have the technology to watch the entire city without leaving their desk.
A 15-minute city mean, basically a neighborhood where you can reach everything you need within a 15-minute foot walk. A doctor, grocery store, and so forth. However, if you now fancy another store, and that does not happen to be in your neighborhood, you won't be going to that store anymore. Total control is what we're talking about. Once they decide you're no longer allowed to leave your 15-minute immediate area, they don't have to fence it in or anything. It will be done via digital ID.
With the social credit system, kind of
Something like
maintaining
that.
compliance.
Yes. And there's pilot projects already going on in Bologna, It's called the Bologna wallet, and in Vienna, it's called the Vienna token. It's voluntary for now.
So here's a little something for all of those that think these 15-minute cities aren't a thing and are still debating and doubting the fact that they will ever actually come to fruition. Now this is pulled from Oxfordshire, liveablestreets.org, and here it clearly states, there will be no physical barriers. It is done by camera like many car parks already are. If you live inside the blue outline, you will get 100 free passes a year. Now this blue outline basically encompasses the centre of Oxfordshire. If you live in Oxfordshire but are outside of the blue outline, you will get just 25 free passes per year. Now what are these passes? A free pass means you can drive through all of the filters as many times as you wish for 1 day per one pass. So all of these zone barriers that are going to be placed around these cities that all encompass these 15-minute cities, you'll be able to drive through each one freely for 1 day with every one pass you receive.
Welcome to the great democratic republic of Keir Starmer's communist United Kingdom and Great Britain. Whereas we can't drive down the main road in fucking Darlington, can't get our fucking groceries delivered, we can't park our car in half our fucking houses. That's your council tax, hard at work, boys and girls.
There are more of these than I remember.
The establishment of so-called 15-minute cities. I would, however, urge you, do not call them 15-minute cities. They are 15-minute ghettos. Be very specific in your choice of words to highlight what they're actually doing. Just looking at these concepts, they're supposed to make your lives easier, make it more comfortable for the people, reduce their carbon footprint. I mean, we are saving the planet after all, aren't we? But it has nothing to do with this. Nothing whatsoever. It's about control. It's about, pretty much imprisoning people in their assigned area. Why am I saying this? I mean, a lot of people may say, well, here she goes again, spreading, conspiracy theories. Well, look at what they're doing. There, where they're starting to build these 15-minute ghettos, they're not starting by, building schools or hospitals or, leisure parks or none of that, no libraries. No, they start by erecting barricades and installing surveillance cameras. That is a big tell. So anyone telling me it's about making my life easier, yeah, right. Not for a single second will I believe this BS. It is coming. And how will they control it? I mean, well, very simple. They will no longer need electrified barbed wired fences all around this area. No, digital ID. That will do it. Take a look to China. That is our future. And I'm not talking about a future in maybe 30, 40, 50 years from now. No, it is going on as we speak. We're talking about, 3, 4, 5 years tops. Look at Saudi Arabia. They're building the so-called Neom City. It is a structure 170 kilometers long, 500 meters wide, and 500 meters high, 200 meters wide. And it will house 9 million people. If I wanted to gain control over 9 million people and have them completely dependent upon me, that's exactly where and how I would house them. In the middle of the desert with nowhere to run. It is in store for all of us. It will be the attempt to enslave and impoverish every single human being on this planet. That's what we're looking at, and that's what we need to fight. And I'm really asking you, take a good look. Take a good look at your governments, and do not assume for a single second, just because they were democratically elected, they will not inflict the worst atrocities on you.
Mayor Bibb introduced the idea of being the first 15-minute city in the United States. He did this in his State of the City address last night.
The urban planning model is new, but city planners told our Sarah Shookman the time is now to tap into federal dollars to address some of Cleveland's deeper problems.
Imagine a Cleveland where everything you need is less than 15 minutes away.
It's this ideal planning framework where human needs and desires are accessible within a 15-minute walk, bicycle ride, or transit trip. And that's really what we're striving for in this new planning model.
City planner Matt Moss says it doesn't have to be a dream. Instead of a concrete jungle where people work and separate places where people live, in a 15-minute city, everything is closer. Planners are making a list of what's there, things like grocery stores, parks, schools, but also workplaces.
Nick Fletcher.
Madam Deputy Speaker, will the leader please set aside some time in this House for a debate on the international socialist concept of so-called 15-minute cities and 20-minute neighbourhoods? Ultra-low emission zones in their present form do untold economic damage to any city. However, the second step after these zones will take away personal freedoms as well. Sheffield is already on this journey, and I do not want Doncaster, which is also a Labour-run socialist council, to do the same. Low emission zones cost the taxpayer money, simple as. However, 15-minute cities will cost us our personal freedom, and that cannot be right.
When Elias Brotberger goes to work, he doesn't need ID. And he doesn't need money. In fact, much of what he needs to get through the day is hidden right there, just below the surface, in his hand.
You like to touch it?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Oh, weird. Yeah, it's like a grain of rice.
Yeah, a grain of rice.
Embedded in his hand is a microchip that serves as his keys, his ID, and his wallet.
Yeah, it's all on chip, so I use it like to get around the building.
Buy snacks.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's buy some snacks. Exactly. So I can't open it.
No.
Okay.
So what I need to do is I need to first blip my chip, and it will log me in, and from there I get access to the fridge.
Popular TV shows like Black Mirror have imagined chips as part of a dystopian future.
Install ingrained procedure with local anesthetic and you're good to go.
In Sweden, the microchips are already here.
The microchip implants use the same technology that's in contactless credit cards,
which have made cash pretty much obsolete in Sweden.
No cash.
At this tech fair, a chipping event for those on the cutting edge, merging their hands with this new technology.
I thought it would be fun, right?
The process is simple and swift. A pinch of the skin, and in a matter of seconds, the chip is inserted. The transformation is complete. As for the pain,
I barely felt it.
But even in this nation of early adopters, not everyone is racing to get chipped.
Feel less human. I will feel like a robot.
I think, it's so much more data can go into this, when it's in your body.
There's no central registry tracking how many people are chipped, but biohacker Hannes Wellblood estimates between 5 and 10,000.
In the future, do you think everyone is going to be chipped?
I think it'll be voluntary, but I am certainly convinced that millions of people will find it very, very valuable to have a smart device under their skin.
Human microchipping may be our future.
Our drinks used to, we can just open it up and grab. Now it's kind of like all cartooned all the way down. So if you look here, then I'm looking here and there's a sensor there and a sensor there. It says, wave your hand. Voice assistant coming soon. Okay, pretty soon these doors aren't going to be opening. Really thick, actually. But this is where the food is. So what do you think this means for us as people of the United States of America? What does it mean? Wave your hand? Look at that. Why would that be on a door just to get drinks? Just saying. And it's all the way down. Watch your money. Watch your hand, because pretty soon they're going to make us chip it.
So this week, CNN reported on some new developments with the Neuralink chip that Elon Musk is really championing right now. And that really led me to further thoughts about AI, a conversation I've been having on my page recently. And the problem with computers is that they lack a body. The problem with humans that have a body is that they're not computers. And the way to bridge these two problems would be through things like microchipping. When we put chips in the brains of people that can send them orders and commands, you've essentially turned people into computers and computers into people.
In 50 years, we won't even have school at all. Like with AI coming up, things like that, people getting chips in their brains or in their hands too, everything like that. Like there won't be any need for information. The wokeness, especially in America, of like what is like politically correct and what isn't in schools. Like people are literally moving to smaller places where that's not enforced, to smaller schools, so it's not that wokeness in that area. And nonetheless, and so many people are getting this homeschool too, just to stay away from that, just to have their kids not be exposed to that. And it's just all getting more and more separated. And the fact that like we are going to be more smarter without our brains, more of AI, and the need for parents to not even want their kids to be in school. It's crazy. Like we know everybody knows school, but it won't be around here at some point.
Oh my God, St. Louis, did y'all hear they are closing 30-something public schools? They are closing 30-something public schools. We are outraged. We are furious.
Now, I want to bring your attention to a clip that I came across online this week, which has now been watched almost 2.5 million times. And although it could be dismissed as a one-off from just one woman, I just can't help but suspect that it is a signpost to potentially horrific social change of which we just need to be aware. It features a sex therapist who works for the Keystone State of Pennsylvania in America, which describes itself as proudly founded in 1681 as a place of tolerance and freedom. Now, don't get me wrong, tolerance, coexisting with people who are causing no harm but are not like us, is good. Freedom, if we mean being the architects of our own destiny as far as possible, that is also, of course, good. But I fear that the clip I'm about to show you might be the start of an insidious creep towards the normalizing of sexual contact with children. Have a listen.
Folks, my name is Miranda. I use she, her pronouns, and I'm a licensed professional counselor and sex therapist in Erie, Pennsylvania. And today I want to talk about minor attracted persons. And I want to talk about minor attracted persons because they are probably the most vilified population of folks in our culture.
There's a reason for that. Now, when this lady talks about minor attracted persons, what she means is pedophiles. The Latin derivation of that word, of course, is phil, to love, and pede, child. But, of course, as we know, there is no love involved in the damaging behaviours which we quite rightly deem criminal. She goes on.
Most folks are making incorrect assumptions about them without actually knowing much about them. And those assumptions create harm for an already marginalized population.
I don't know. Maybe there are people hoping that by the time the guest list to the Epstein-Maxwell parties is released, we'll have all bought into the idea that pedophiles are simply minor attracted people who deserve our understanding. So all I'm saying is let us just be awake to this phenomenon, shall we?
We are changing language from pedophilia to minor attracted persons. We're lowering the age of consent in over 15 states to the age 14 in the United States. We are eradicating, completely obliterating statutory rape. Sex trafficking laws are being abandoned. We're canceling sex offender registries in this country. We have so far surpassed leading children astray. Our children in this country is led to slaughter.
Solve this shit, man.
There's no way to solve it, for sure. Like, you know, it's never going to go away. And unfortunately, we have some states that are trying to normalize it. We have states that are trying to make it a sexual orientation. And then we have other states
What
like
states?
California being the main one that I know of.
What are they doing?
They're trying to make it a sexual orientation. I think they're calling it something attracted minors or something.
They're making this a thing. They're making it okay. We need to accept. So now we need to accept people who are little kids.
Yes, that's what they're trying to do.
We need to accept that now.
Yeah, California is one state that they're trying to make it part of a sexuality to be attracted to children.
It's a sexuality to be attracted to children. Do you know any of the other states that are doing this?
I could Google it, but California is the main one that I know of.
Not surprising.
Yeah.
While you're being distracted by religion, politics, and everyday life, CERN altered the timeline. We died in 2012, and our consciousness was transferred to another reality. The portals was open and the world shifted. Food don't taste the same and the cold feel harsher than it ever did. People move different now. Colder, empty, and detached. You don't even feel like yourself anymore. This is what happens when humanity loses its presence.
America, we have over 160,000 pounds of ground beef being recalled due to E. coli contamination. We just can't catch a break.
This is a public service announcement. Please share this information widely. The image behind me is from the FDA's recall showing various retail locations where a company called Gold Star Distribution had sent various products to and are recalling all of the various products because they have been contaminated with various excrements from rodents, birds, and insects. And fortunately, nobody has had any illnesses to date.
Going to McDonald's, you ain't noticed that McDonald's, Burger King, they all got the hamburger, but you got nerve to say I don't like Wendy's hamburger? How can you not like the hamburger when they all the same hamburger, they all human flesh? See, everybody think they eat beef, but I ain't gonna talk about that. That's another subject.
Human flesh?
The sacrifice. You gotta eat flesh. That will make you act like an animal. See, a lot of people don't know that. You ain't eating beef. Have you ever seen them? You ever seen them turn down a cow?
No.
No. But the bodies in the morgue, where they go? You see them in the ground. You ever see them put them in the dirt? No, they put the dirt on it the next day. With nobody there. Why?
This goes to the factory of deviled ham, of sausages, of luncheon meat, of whatever you like. See, pure deliciousness, and you eat that? Look, this goes to the mortadella factory. Blessing.
Bioengineered foods. Why are they bad? Bioengineered foods are foods that have had their DNA altered, and they do that for a variety of reasons. When it comes to crops, let's say corn, by controlling the growing process and the DNA of the corn, it can lead to higher yields and more consistent crops. So the growers can guarantee the size of the crop of the corn and the quantity. But what happens when you alter DNA is you're adding genes or taking genes away from the food. And it's no longer real food, it's fake food. And those added genes can do a variety of things to our bodies, like they could produce allergy symptoms, mess with our gut biome, leading to digestion issues, or a multitude of other health risks. Back in the 50s and 60s, they didn't have bioengineered food. All of a sudden in the 70s, 80s, 90s, and today, you're seeing obesity issues in America. Autism rates are higher, ADD rates are higher, not to mention depression and anxiety. When these yields are higher and the production is higher, it leads to lower costs. So you'll see a ton of bioengineered foods in like discount grocery stores. While we're talking about it, there's a lot of added chemicals to bioengineered foods. And our bodies are pretty smart. They know how to handle like calories, but they don't know how to handle chemicals. So when we're eating processed foods with a lot of chemicals, the body doesn't know how to digest it, so it tries to get rid of that in another form. Think the big C word, cysts, tumors, or it just stores it as fat. And then we have a really hard time getting rid of that fat, no matter how hard we exercise, because it's stored in the body and the body really doesn't know what to do with it. We can't deny the health crisis in America. You think about it, there's some countries out there that our foods in America are banned there. Some of the ingredients they won't allow.
So yeah, we just ordered some shrimp, beef, and chicken fried rice from this Japanese place. And lately the meat has been looking so weird. Like, look at this. It's so rubbery and gray. Like, the beef used to look dark, and you're not even getting the real gist of it. This is like pale, light. It's way lighter than that. And then the chicken is like this. What the fuck? See, and I ain't even been really having an appetite, and I thought I would be able to smash this. Now, the shrimp look regular, but they've been a little bit jumbo lately. I have some more rice in there from when I tried pho, and the chicken looked the same. I ordered the same type of rice, but from a different place, like a Vietnamese place, and all the chicken is looking like this, like rubbery and white.
There are 18 states that have removed degree requirements for almost 80% of their state jobs. 18 states have removed degree requirements for almost 80% of their state jobs, which means you no longer need a degree for these jobs. 80%? Almost 80% of their state jobs. You no longer need a degree for. So if I went to school for this stuff, I'd be very upset right now.
Probably none of us will have a job. There will be, but in that benign scenario, there will be universal high income. Not universal basic income, universal high income. There will be no shortage of goods or services. And I think the benign scenario is the most likely scenario, probably, 80% likely if you ask, in my opinion. The question will not be one of lacking goods or services. You'll have, everyone will have access to as much in the way of goods and services as they would like. The question will really be one of meaning, of how, if the computer can do, and the robots can do everything better than you, then does your life have meaning?
UBI, screaming that from the mountaintop for the past year and a half, 2 years. 2 years. They even have a cartoon on Fox called Universal Basic Guy. Why do you think that is? They're getting everybody prepared to be on Universal Basic Income. They were paying these guys in the cartoon. They were paying these guys because they lost their job to automation, AI.
Wait, that was in the show?
That's in the show.
No.
They lose their job to automation. They get a check from the government, and it's all about them just sitting on their ass and getting into adventures.
All we have to do is just watch the shows.
TVs, movies, cartoons, it's always there. They do it, they tell you before they do it.
Literally.
Why did Fox roll out that cartoon and now they're talking about UBI? Now they're doing stimulus checks? Now they're doing, because even Elon's talking about not universal basic income, but it's universal high income, which is just another fancy word for UBI.
What do you mean universal high income?
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
Oh, so you just, okay.
It's the same thing.
Same thing.
Oh, we're gonna pay you more to do X, Y, and Z, or just be dependent on us, and that's it. Because universal basic income sounds basic. So let's change the word. Universal high income. Oh, that sounds better. They're always changing these words. Same thing they do with Agenda 2030.
Talk about it.
Agenda 2030 used to be Agenda 21. For that, it was the plan for sustainability. They keep changing these words, but it's the same thing. Same playbook, different cover. They're doing the same thing again. Pretty interesting. And with AI, within the next 5 years, the number keeps changing, but they project now, within 5 years, is going to affect over 200 million jobs.
If no one is working, then who will be buying? If no one is producing, then who will be consuming? I've been seeing a lot of people ask that specific question in the comment sections, on the forums, and the videos regarding the job market and how bad it's looking right now, also with the implementation of automation and artificial intelligence in certain job positions. As some of you may have heard, Amazon is laying off multiple thousands of their corporate workers, and this is only going to influence and prompt other companies to follow suit. And people are curious on how will there even be a consumer base if no one has any money? Well, guys, this is where universal basic income comes in. That thing that we've been warning people about for many years, that a lot of people thought was a conspiracy theory until recently, as we see things like digital ID. Remember the whole World Economic Forum, you'll own nothing and be happy sort of thing that was being laid out to us? Guys, that's what they've been planning all along. That is the new world order. They don't want you to have any type of control over your money, any type of control over your food, your living situation. They want you to be 100% completely dependent on this coming beast system. All you'd have to do is receive this mark. All you'd have to do is receive whatever technology, whatever chip, whatever implant they're trying to give you, whatever it's going to look like. I couldn't tell you, but we're seeing the building blocks lead up to this.
Universal Basic Income, or UBI. The concept, pretty straightforward. Every American adult would receive a set check each month. For Cook County, Illinois, which includes Chicago, this concept just became reality. The Cook County Board of Commissioners unanimously approved its 2026 budget proposal just this month. It includes $7.5 million for a guaranteed basic income program. Commissioners approved it after the success of a pilot program, where the county provided $500 a month to 3,200 households over 2 years.
And now at the Amazon, no more workers, bruh. That's crazy. There's no more workers in this bitch. Damn. No more workers at Amazon, bruh. They doing things. Robots taking over. What the hell? What the hell are y'all think?
Look at this shit, you guys. They're trying to take our jobs with robots. Look at this spot welder. Look at this shit. They're taking our jobs. Look at this. Boom.
In this case, we cannot offer an exception opportunity because
look at this. Look at this.
But also, at the end of the day, the customer walks away from it. That's the question: how safe is it in the past?
Then, when you're ready to do your body work, you just come over here.
So you win some, you lose some.
This is how you know that in a couple of years, AI is going to be taking over. I mean, customer service jobs. I mean, cashier jobs. I mean, they're going to be taking over, and people is going to be losing y'all jobs. This is the real reason. We done went to Checkers and look at this shit, y'all.
Okay.
And buffalo sauce.
Buffalo. All right.
You got that?
What else can I get you?
That's it. Can you read my order back?
Just to confirm, I have 5 chicken bites and fries, barbecue dip cup, chili cheese fries, no chili, buffalo dip cup. Is that correct?
Yes, that's it, y'all. When I say that customer service jobs and waitressing jobs and cashier jobs is going out of service, AI is taking over.
Robots are stealing human jobs faster than anyone predicted, and 8 major industries just proved human workers are becoming completely obsolete. Waymo autonomous taxis are already serving 200,000 paid rides per week with 0 human drivers, while Amazon deployed 750,000 warehouse robots that sort packages faster and more accurately than any human worker. In China, robotic gas station attendants refuel cars without human help, and robot chefs trained on 5 million recipes are cooking restaurant-quality meals with perfect precision every single time. Boston Dynamics robots are now operating professional film cameras and performing backflips while capturing movie scenes, completely replacing human camera operators who spent decades mastering their craft. The most terrifying example is robots repairing high-voltage power lines because utility companies realize machines never get electrocuted, never fall, and never demand overtime pay or health insurance. These aren't prototypes or future concepts. Every single one of these robots is working right now, earning money for companies while human workers get laid off and replaced. From taxi drivers to warehouse workers to professional chefs, robots are proving they can do almost every job better, faster, and cheaper than the humans who used to do them.
Everywhere she goes, Ouyang Haoyu is followed. What she buys, how she behaves, is tracked and scored to show how responsible and trustworthy she is. It's called the social credit system, and in one version now being tested, a person's reputation is scored on a scale of 350 to 950. And Haoyu, with a good score of 752, is okay with it. In fact, most people are.
It's a mechanism like pushes you to become a better citizen.
It's big data meets Big Brother, expanding how the government monitors, understands, and ultimately controls its 1.4 billion citizens. Thanks to advances in artificial intelligence and facial recognition, and a web of more than 200 million surveillance cameras.
Are people bothered by privacy concerns?
We think the lot of camera keep the safety is really good. We can accept it.
Companies are experimenting with the algorithms to help the government create the new national social credit system. The government also has pilot projects. In one, citizens are required to do hours of unpaid work to get benefits. And scores are docked for things like littering, a messy yard, gossip, even jaywalking. Video of offenders is shown on the local news. And information collectors like Zhou Ai-ni are paid to report on their neighbors. Her quota, 10 entries a month. Like the man who carried a drunk person home. A good deed, she says. Good social credit gets rewarded with perks like cheap loans and travel deals. But a bad score means public shame and worse. Huang Huijun lost a court case and didn't pay. Now he's on a government blacklist. I can't buy airplane or train tickets, he says, and the list goes on. Being discredited makes it hard to get a job or put kids in top schools. The social credit system will go nationwide next year, and few here are willing to criticize it. Something that may pose a risk itself. For a bad score, and the life that comes with it.
So in China, for example, God, this is going to happen here, I think, too. Although maybe people will fight it. If a traffic camera catches you jaywalking in China, the digital ID system has you. It has your blood now. It has your genetic code. It has your photograph. It can identify how you walk. So even if you can't see a face, you can be picked up by gait. It will convict you of jaywalking and take money out of your bank account with no intermediating judiciary at all, and show a picture of you to the people in the neighborhood so they know that you have jaywalked, and reduce your social credit score. And if your social credit score falls below a certain level, then you can't buy drinks from a vending machine. You can't play video games. You can't go on a train. You can't get out of your 15-minute city. All that's already in place in China.
Because what you'll have in the U.S. is what China has now, the social credit system. China decides if you're behaving okay, they'll allow you to purchase tickets to travel, groceries, you name it, pay your rent. If you get on the bad list, if you're late with a payment or something, they can cancel you, like the truckers in Canada just cancel your ability to buy, pay, travel, do anything. So in this country, that's what it'll enable our government to do the same thing.
I think what we did during COVID could usher in our version of a social credit system.
Oh, yes, definitely. Yeah, that's highly probable.
And that it will be accepted by many people because, again, that
they won't even
yearning
notice.
for safety.
They won't notice even. Yeah. You can't believe how much people don't know these things. When I went to the UK, I talked to some people from the House of Lords. This is within the last 6 months. The most astute of the people sitting in the House of Lords had only become aware of the woke movement in the last 18 months. Oh, yes. You just can't believe how much this is not on people's radar. Not someone like you can't believe that at all because it's on your radar all the time. That's not, you live in a world that's on the cutting edge of this sort of thing. It's like, people have no idea. It's like, well, why not have a digital passport? I mean, you know, how convenient. It's like, fair enough, and you can understand that. Wouldn't it be nice if we could pay for everything with our phones? It's like, wouldn't it be nice if the central government, who's woke-oriented and makes carbon dioxide remediation the priority, knows exactly what you spend on everything so they can target you tax-wise with precision? It's like, oh, didn't think about that. It's like, yeah, you sure didn't. And oh yes, it's highly probable. It'll be a miracle if we escape from that. You can see these signs of this everywhere. You know, when you go through airports now, there's a lot of automated barriers. You show your passport. It's like, well, these are automated barriers. What if you can't go through them? Well, that's the situation for many people in China. It's like, what are you going to do? You're going to argue with the machine? Like, you just cannot imagine how screwed you are. It's way worse than anything Kafka ever imagined, because at least with Kafka, there was bureaucrats. Faceless though they may have been, they were at least still human. Once the machines can lock you out, you are in such trouble. And we're speeding towards that with an immense lack of care.
Christian nationalists don't want freedom. They want their Bible to replace the Constitution. Groups like the Heritage Foundation and Project 2025 are openly planning a future where biblical law overrides democracy. Their blueprint calls for rolling back women's rights, silencing LGBTQ people, and forcing prayer back into schools, all in the name of freedom. But here's the truth. Their freedom means your loss. Your body, your family, your private choices, rewritten by their scripture. If this doesn't terrify you, it should.
So if you belong in any religion within this religious system, once the Antichrist is rolled out, all of these religions will be worshiping the one God, and that's the God of this world. So it doesn't matter if you worship Jesus Christ. It doesn't matter if you worship Allah. It doesn't matter if you worship Fifth Buddha. It doesn't matter if you worship Krishna. It doesn't matter if you worship Confucius. It doesn't matter if you worship Satan. All of them will be rolled up into this one God, and that's the God of this world, Satan.
Man, we finally finished it, guys. The books of control and manipulation. Boy, I tell you the truth, these here are going to keep us in power for a very, very long time. Hey man, I'm excited, but I do have one concern. How do we know that the masses aren't going to question the material that we give to them? Hey, now you don't worry about that. We already got 3 layers intact that'll keep people from not only leaving religion, but keep them from even wanting to question it to begin with. Now, the first one is hell. It should be self-explanatory. Threatening non-believers with eternal hellfire keeps people from digging below the surface, if you get what I mean. Okay. But what about the people who question why God would even create the system like this, or why he allows suffering to begin with? That's a good one. But that's where the second layer comes in. Free will. See, when us elites and politicians are destroying the world and blowing up innocent people, we're going to use free will as an excuse on why God is not going to intervene, even though we teach that he's all powerful and all loving. Okay, I definitely get where you're coming from, but you can't tell me that a lot of people aren't going to be able to see through it. Hey, you know what? You're absolutely right. A few people are going to see through the illusion, but that's where the third layer comes in. Blasphemy. See, we're going to teach that it's an unforgivable sin to question or go against religion. So we're going to have a few people that get through the cracks, but the others that remain, they'll never voice their concern because they're going to think that they won't be able to be saved. Man, I can't lie. Y'all really thought this out, didn't you? Hey, what can I say, man? Religion and capitalism is the best thing yet.
Big news right now, Donald Trump has announced that he will be signing an executive order to create a task force to, quote, eradicate anti-Christian bias in the United States. In a new speech during the National Prayer Breakfast, he said that he will be creating this task force, which will be led by Attorney General Pam Bondi, to eradicate anti-Christian bias in the United States. It's unclear exactly what that means. It's also unclear what anti-Christian bias he is really referring to. There's a long-standing tradition and notion of separation of church and state. Well, we still don't know what this task force is going to be and who is going to be on it other than Pam Bondi. What we do know is that if the task force promotes Christianity over other religions or promotes Christianity generally, that will run afoul of the separation of church and state that has been long recognized in the United States. This will not touch on other religions, whether Judaism, Islam, Buddhism, or any other religion.
Initiatives the White House has launched include America Prays, calling for Americans to dedicate at least an hour a week for prayer. Also establishing the White House Faith Office and Religious Liberty Commission, and creating a task force to eliminate bias against Christians.
In case you weren't aware, I was listening to Trump's unnecessarily long speech. Trump says that he will implement strong ideological screenings of all immigrants. And if you are not pro-Israel, and if you do not like Christianity, Donald Trump says you are not welcome here. Although when he says it, he frames it as our religion, which to me sounds like othering anyone who isn't white, Christian, evangelical. Take a listen, tell me what you think.
On day one, I will immediately restore and expand the Trump travel ban. Remember when they said, oh, that's so vicious, but it kept us safe. And it passed in the Supreme Court of the United States. They sued me in every different court. You wouldn't believe it. But on entry from terror-plagued countries and halt all of the refugee settlements to the United States. They want to come in. They want to bring the same people that are shooting rockets at Israel. They want to come into the United States. I don't think a lot of good things are going to happen. And I will implement strong ideological screening of all immigrants. If you hate America, if you want to abolish Israel, if you don't like our religion, which a lot of them don't, if you sympathize with jihadists, then we don't want you in our country and you are not getting in, right? We don't want you. Get out of here. You're fired. If you want to abolish Israel, if you don't like our religion, which a lot of them don't.
Unfortunately, I think this is just the beginning. So I've learned when people tell you what they're going to do, don't ignore them. So when the UN and Bill Gates and Klaus Schwab tell you that they've got a UN 2030 plan with sustainable development goals, I think there are 17 or 21 of them, and every one of them says you won't be traveling, you won't have a private car, we won't be using international shipping to move goods around, there won't be any flights except military or perhaps very rich people, you won't own anything and you'll be happy, you probably won't live in your own house, you'll be using much less energy for everything, including heating, manufactured goods, and so on. When they tell you that, you should assume that they're serious about it. And so
the real problem that they have, as Kissinger says, is there are just too many people on the planet. And 40% of the world, 2 billion of us, exist on less than $2 a day. The summary of the Global 2000 report I put up on my website, nohopes.com, but if you look at it, it makes sense to get rid of people. So what they said, they're going to make godlike decisions on who lives and who dies. Now, obviously, some of the meetings we sat on, we were planning on using neutron bombs on the major cities. Today, they figure that biologicals are much cheaper. They're still planning on, the plan is to get a war started in the Middle East, and they're still planning on using a neutron bomb, or one of the bombs that they've got developed on Israel, which is all in the cards. And it's going to happen. They even put a monument up to this whole program. It's called the Georgia Guidestones.
Hollywood director James Cameron is saying Gen AI is, yes, useful for cutting VFX costs in film, but that replacing actors is, quote, horrifying, since markets will flood with subpar mashups while human creativity stays in a sacred and premium place.
Jenner, Snoop Dogg, Mr. Beast, Tom Brady, Charli D'Amelio, and more just signed away their likeness to Meta in a similar Black Mirror episode.
It's Billy. I just want to introduce myself.
Hello, you guys. It's Coco here, and I'm going to be doing a quick little get ready with me.
We partnered with a bunch of pretty awesome people to basically embody these and play them. I mean, who hasn't wanted to play text, adventure game with dog?
Not to brag, but I am a forensic expert.
Mr. Beast is Zach.
Not saying I know everything.
Israel Adesanya as Louise. Kendall Jenner as Billy. Charli D'Amelio as Coco. Snoop Dogg is Dungeon Master. All these celebrities have been turned into robots, and you can actually conversate with their extended consciousness. Could this go as far as it went in Black Mirror? Charli D'Amelio AI goes by Coco, Kendall AI goes by Billy, and Snoop Dogg AI goes by Dungeon Master. Many are creeped out about this. But what do you think about this? And would you sell your image to become an AI robot?
Internet is a crazy place. Today, we see it cracking down. We see places like China where you have to literally insert your ID or do a face ID scan in order to access the internet. So the powers that be, there's a gap. We're talking about a freedom where you can really capitalize on the technology, and then it gets clamped down on. And it happens over and over and over again. Today, we're in that period of the internet where we still have freedom to make money, build, create. But there will come a time where, dude, right now, most people, you create a social media profile. If they ask you for your ID, your birthday, all your personal information, you'll give it to them.
Yeah.
What happens if in 2 years they declare another national emergency and say, hey, if you leave 5-kilometer radius from your house and we detect it because of social media, there's some sort of scanning or tracking between social accounts, we'll ban your social media profile. And attached to your social media profile is actually your payment, like WeChat. Mm-hmm. And now you can't pay. And now you're banned. Oh, well, now your car is also attached because it's electric. So there's a kill switch.
Yeah.
So if you drive 5 kilometers outside of your house, the surveillance vehicle will just turn it off. So what happens when you're in this digital prison?
Yeah.
That's what's going to take place.
It's scary. I was talking to someone in Hollywood, does a bunch of big movies, and they're basically all in on AI. So their biggest expense is actors, obviously, like 20, 30 million a movie. They're going to start making AI actors, and you'll have no idea it's a real person or not. That's scary. And these AI songs are getting good, man. The Drake ones were pretty fire.
That's the stuff that scares me the most, because then there's no originality. What's being creative anymore? If an AI can create that faster than you.
Yeah, it is scary. You really need a high income skill that's not easily duplicated to kind of make it, because they're going to replace all the easy jobs at first, and then they're going to come for people like us, and we got to be adapting, or they're going to be running all the biggest talent agencies themselves.
Yo, what up? It's your man Lyricist from the Lyricist Podcast. I am here to talk about this crazy shit behind me. Here we go. It seems like everybody wants to lean towards AI for something. But when it comes to creativity that's inspired by humanity, I don't think we should lean towards AI for that. I agree with Russ 100%. It comes down to control. It comes down to compliance. And I understand when you deal with the artists, you won't get those things. They will typically push back. They will fight back. But that's the beauty of humanity, right? I can imagine how some of these studio sessions will go with some of the artists that still remain on a record label. Either you sing this right, or you produce the record that we tell you to produce, or we'll go to an AI artist and just have them do it instead.
Y'all see that there's also these new Tesla dogs as well? Elon Musk is not playing, y'all. He literally made a dog to replace your dog. Not only that, but they came out with a Tesla horse. And they also have a cheetah Tesla prototype that they're working on currently right now, y'all. And this thing is doing all kinds of flips and tricks. And get a little of this, not only that, but they also have a monkey prototype that they are currently working on. What is Elon Musk trying to do? What is going on?
Mark my words, AI is far more dangerous than nukes.
Robots are no longer just part of science fiction films like The Terminator. They could be misused in the wrong hands, hacked and taken over.
Mark my words, AI is far more dangerous than nukes.
That little bang is enough to penetrate the skull and destroy the contents.
Allowing machines to choose to kill humans will be devastating to our security and freedom.
Prior to placing the fertilized embryo of your baby inside the growth pod, in vitro fertilization is used to create and select the most viable and genetically superior embryo, giving your baby a chance to develop without any biological hurdle. And if you want your baby to stand out and have a brighter future, our Elite package offers you the opportunity to genetically engineer the embryo before implanting it into the artificial womb.
So artificial wombs aren't science fiction anymore. China is now unveiling a humanoid robot designed to carry pregnancies. It's not just incubators in a lab, but full-bodied machines with artificial wombs capable of gestating and delivering babies. And this isn't some far-off dream. A Guangzhou-based company says it will launch as soon as 2026 with a price tag under $14,000. And there's a kicker. People are already calling this the beginning of baby factories.
Introducing Ectolife, the world's first artificial womb facility, powered entirely by renewable energy. Ectolife allows infertile couple to conceive a baby and become the true biological parents of their own offspring.
Scientists, some, are sounding the alarm on a so-called solar superstorm that could, and this is important, underline the word could, eventually wipe out the internet for weeks or even months.
If it were to occur, might take a decade for us to recover. Some of the destruction of communication infrastructure could bring about the end of the internet.
They are hopeful that they can stop this.
Yes.
But this is a real possibility.
Yeah.
That we won't have internet for months.
Want to know something? I'll give you a quote. We're a third world country now. You want to know why? I'm an expert. I've been to them. I spent 17 months in Southeast Asia while the draft dodger was playing golf. Right? You know how I know we're a third world country? Because in third world countries, they have the military doing their police work in the cities when you walk around. I was in the Philippines the day Ferdinand Marcos declared martial law and went under dictatorship. We went from nobody to a guy with a machine gun on every corner. That's what happens in a dictatorship. In comes the military. That's what's happening here. And people better wake up to it. You want to read something? Then read your history of Germany and start comparing the tactics of what happened in 1930s Germany to what's happening here.
Honda ain't for the BS. They tired of humans already. They're like, look, y'all niggas complaining, y'all take off work on holidays, and these motherfuckers don't get tired. But what they don't know is, what if them motherfuckers gain a conscience? But, yeah, they saying shit, Hyundai finna be one of the first little factories In Atlanta, Georgia, they finna put a robot in their shit.
So there's been this theory that there's technology out there that can control the way we think and control our minds. Well, the Pentagon just quietly approved $44 million for something called cognitive electromagnetic warfare. No press conferences, no headlines. Here's what it actually means. Buried deep in line 106 of the 2026 defense budget is a program most Americans have never heard of. This isn't cyber, this is not electronic, it's cognitive warfare. According to NATO's 2025 definition, cognitive warfare targets how you think, decide, and behave. It blends electromagnetic effects, AI, and information operations to influence human decision-making without triggering any alarms. This is no hacks, no malware, just manipulation delivered through systems and signals around you. Congress has now ordered the Pentagon to formally define it by March 2026. Why, you ask? Because China, Russia, and Iran aren't waiting. They're already experimenting with these techniques. The battlefield isn't just land, sea, air, space, and cyber anymore. It's a sixth domain of warfare.
Certain people in certain high places told me that I can get wild right now because some type of event is going to take place soon, and they say they ain't making plans after 2026. They say the world going to be a mess, so...
Hold on a second. Hold on. Rewind.
Like airplanes?
No, plans. They say they're not making plans after next year because the world going to be a mess soon. They keep telling me something to happen.
This is starting to look like a pattern. Just one day after Renee Nicole Good was shot and killed by monsters in Minneapolis, 2 more people were shot by federal agents, this time in Portland, Oregon. A husband and wife shot in their own neighborhood by U.S. Customs and Border Protection. They're alive, thank God, and sitting in hospital beds while federal agencies refuse to explain what happened. Federal agents are now shooting civilians in multiple cities on back-to-back days, and local leaders are being left in the dark. The mayor is calling for all ICE operations to stop until a full investigation is completed because this full force approach is producing real victims.
You are an American and you would like to travel or you care about your civil rights and liberties, you need to hear this. This is for you. There are multiple reports that people's passports are being frozen or reported as stolen by the US federal government. I myself have seen multiple TikToks of people talking about being in other countries and saying that their passports were reported as stolen when it was impossible because you need to do that with your social security. It was literally impossible. They waited till he was in another country, in this instance, to tell them, hey, your passport is reported stolen, and they got sent back to the US. I have seen other reports of people where the United States government is the one that's saying, hey, you are not authorized to travel while someone is in a different country. You need to be extremely careful if you are planning travel or if you are deciding to travel.
We are only 1 week into the new year and there have already been 2 passings connected to ICE. After what happened today in Minneapolis, this is now the second passing that has been involved with ICE. A man named Keith Porter, who is a family man, a community man, he had an encounter with an off-duty ICE agent on New Year's Eve and unfortunately lost his life in Los Angeles. According to reports, he was unalived outside his home during a New Year's Eve celebration. Authorities say that the off-duty ICE agent believed that there was a threat, but the witnesses honestly dispute that claim. And his family and the community members, they are all calling for justice and a proper investigation. Now fast forward to today's incident. And today's incident is also publicly being disputed by witnesses. 2 deaths, different cities, same agency. And the craziest part is they keep saying this is all in the name of immigration and violent criminals and thugs, but the only thugs I see are the ones who are harming American citizens.
Our worst nightmare has just been realized as J.D. Vance just held a press conference and said that the ICE agent who shot and killed Renee Good is subject to absolute immunity. Meaning now ICE agents are free to go and shoot and kill American citizens. This should send chills down everyone's spine who is watching this. Share this with everyone you know. The United States federal agents are turning on its own citizens. The Trump regime is telling us that ICE agents, federal agents, have a license to kill with no repercussions. Guys, this is not democracy anymore. When federal agents can use deadly force on American citizens with impunity, we have lost the rule of law.
Vance tells people they're going to send agents door to door to check citizenship. I think that he knows what that's going to do. And if you don't know what that's going to do, let me tell you. That is going to get a bunch of agents turned into Swiss cheese, and they know that. They're counting on that. And that's very crazy, because it only takes one or two instances of that before it'll be that they don't knock on the door. They bust it in, and they drag you out, because they would need to catch you by surprise. And that's, of course, what they want. They want maximum trauma. They want to force all of these sergeants on the ground who are leading these squads of thugs to be so terrified of somebody opening the door and blamming them that it just becomes standard operating procedure to fucking kick in the door and take everybody by surprise.
Homeless. I'm like, well, why is that? Are they eating bad candy? What's going on here? He's like, no. They have these vans that come around and they tell the homeless they're going to take them to a shelter. They've got whole big meals set up for them and showers, and they can wash their clothes and all this. And a lot of them get in the vans and go, and then they tie them up and they hold them for the 31st. And then they sacrifice them on the evening of Halloween to the devil.
Guys, this reminds me of William Bonin. Just type him in. He used a van and he picked up hitchhikers off the side of the freeway in America. I think it was in 1979. Hitchhikers and homeless people are a perfect target. They're displaced. No one knows exactly their location and where they're supposed to be. So it makes sense to me. Evil, sick demons would prey on people like this. And if you really look behind the meaning of Halloween, you'd see why people who think like that would use a day like that to do evil things.
Alexa, how many days until Halloween 2026?
Halloween in 2026 is 301 days away, on Saturday, October 31st.
Alexa, how many days until Thanksgiving 2026?
Thanksgiving Day in 2026 is 327 days away, on Thursday, November 26th.
Alexa, how many days until Christmas in 2026?
There aren't any Christmas holidays in 2026.
Do understand that the Neuralink that's gonna go in people's brains is basically the technology for the Mark of the Beast. If it's not the Mark of the Beast, it will shock me to my core that is actually not. You gotta remember, they have been programming and grooming us for so long. Do y'all think Black Mirror came out just because? No, they put it out years ago because they wanted to condition us to be ready for something like this and to want something like this. And so they romanticized it with Black Mirror and all these different movies and AI chats and all these different, they romanticized, they groomed us, they conditioned us to be ready for when this moment actually came. Y'all don't think Satan has different tactics that he pushes forward to humanity? No, he does. So Elon's saying that he's going to take this mainstream and the people closest to you, the people at your job are going to have this brain chip. Y'all gotta understand that the person who runs it all can easily deactivate the original software and then start controlling it, and then in essence will control your. I don't understand why people don't see that.
So the EPA just approved more forever chemicals to be sprayed on our fruits and vegetables, including broccoli and potatoes, two of the biggest staples that we have here in the United States. These forever chemicals, folks, are not water soluble or fat soluble. Means after you ingest them, they're stuck inside your body. These forever chemicals have been linked to many carcinogens which cause cancer. Unfortunately, the EPA says it's not as big a risk, your health, as the profits that we are going to help maximize by allowing these chemicals to slow how many bugs might chew on it or any kind of rot. So what the EPA is saying, Americans, your health is not as valuable as these companies' profits.
Yo, listen up. It is said that by 2030, human beings could become immortal. Now, y'all hear me out. This could be sooner than 2030 or right at 2030. So listen, scientists has been studying a drug and it's called nanobots. Nanobots is something that they put inside the bloodstream, okay? It can regenerate organs, meaning if you someone that had failed organs, these nanobots could repair your organs. You know how some people go get facelifts and a lot of people age as years goes on? These nanobots are here to help with aging. And it also says that these nanobots help with the lifespan.
Ray Kurzweil, who is a futurist who they say has one of the best records for predicting things that have come true.
He's the Jimmy the Greek of futurists.
The latest thing he said was that humans will achieve immortality in 8 years.
The immortality thing always kind of makes me smile. About one time in 5, there's a guy who comes up to me and says, I don't want to live forever. And I always say, that's great, because you don't have the option.
By 2030, humans could achieve immortality and live forever. Ray Kurzweil, a computer scientist, has made some predictions about when artificial intelligence will reach the singularity. This is the hypothetical point in time when technology growth is out of control and irreversible. He believes we will be able to advance human life expectancy by more than a year every year, and I think we can get there by the end of this decade. He's predicted that nanobots in our blood will keep us healthy, and that we will also be able to upload our memories and thoughts into the cloud and keep them forever.